You are looking live at the Bristol Motor Speedway, where today we are going to be doing the Irwin Tools Night Race. Unfortunately, Mother Nature had other plans, so on this early Wednesday morning, we have today another 100-lap sprint, 2 races left to get into the chase. Denny Hamlin is the number 1 seed in the playoffs right now with 5 wins. He can start today and clinch his spot in the chase. And what a good way to do that than start on the pole. Hopefully he can finish there just like he did in the spring. So, drivers that can clinch today. So far are Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick. They can clinch at the end of the day. These drivers that are higher up, so Dylan Murray, Jeff Gordon, Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, Ryan Newman, Jimmy Johnson, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. can clinch at the end of today's race. Kurt Busch, Casey Kane, Trevor Bayne, Matt Kenseth, and Greg Biffle can clinch next week at Atlanta when the green flag falls. Well, Saturday, technically. So on this Wednesday morning, another thing we got to notice, there's 2 spots left. 4 drivers want to be in. Of course, if you win, that just makes it even more interesting. You got Brad Keselowski starting 10th, Tony Stewart starting 14th, Marcus Ambrose starting 25th, and Jeff Burton starting 12th. So Brad Keselowski currently, as it sits, he's the first person outside the chase. If he wins today, he will lock up a spot in the playoffs automatically and not have to worry about Atlanta. Pace car is off. Denny Hamlin will bring the field down. In the better late than never category, we are racing at Bristol. Out of turn 4 already, very aggressive by Dylan Murray as he is making it 3 wide in the outside lane from his 34th place starting spot. That is a very sketchy move as you're well out of the marbles and you got a lot of traffic to deal with. And already we got a car on the wall in turn 1, 2 of them. Trevor Bayne is 1. And 3 laps in, the caution has come out. Right off of the, looked like they were 3 wide. Dylan Murray was, again, trying to use the outside lane. Just got the wall. Trevor Bayne came and finished him off. So anyways, the pace car is off, and we'll go back racing, hopefully. Got another very big knot. That's what a lot of these chase drivers are going to have to worry about to really pay attention to, is how big will the group behind them get. And everyone's going to want to fight for that bottom lane because the bottom lane is the fastest way around. And you can really root a lot of people out of the way. Or in the case of Bobby Labonte, almost crashed in turn 1. Luckily, everything seemed to calm down there. As Jimmy Johnson has opened up an early lead. If any of the drivers I mentioned earlier, and he can clinch regardless at the end of today's race by finishing, he'd like to have that extra win insurance just for a higher seed in the chase. Because he hasn't won since Charlotte back in the Lincoln Welders 300 earlier this season. He'd love to have another win to his column. As Danica Patrick getting a little aggressive, rooted out of the way. As we pass her for 23rd, Jimmy Johnson continues to lead out front as we speak. .90 laps to go so far in the Irwin Tools night race here at Bristol. Johnson continues to lead. Already tires are becoming an issue because you're slowly seeing Dylan Murray inch towards the top of the racetrack. He's really he's gaining a little bit of time, but not a lot. The only reason he caught up to the two cars in front of him is because David Reagan's already starting to hold up Eric Amaroa. And we're already a 10th into the race, and you got people with fenders beat up. We had 18 cautions in the first race at Bristol. Hopefully we will have less. There could be a shot we have more, who knows? Unless we start having cautions every lap or something. Jimmy Johnson already starting to get into a little bit of lap traffic. Got a nice little battle up in front of us between Dylan Murray and Danica Patrick. Both of those drivers are going at it. Dylan Murray just doored Danica on the front stretch as Danica turned down next to him in turn 3. And Paul Menard will go around on the front stretch. Caution is out. Dylan really had to get out of the gas, got the wall. And Paul Menard goes across the track into the wall in turn 3. So a little bit of green flag racing so far in the early stages of this one. 2 cautions in the first 17 laps of this race. That's not really too bad. But just a reminder, under caution, you have to come down both pit roads at this place. Under green, you can enter in your pit lane at any time. There's been several issues in the past where someone who's pitted on the front stretch got confused, came all the way in the back stretch, and by that time they had to sever the race a couple laps down. Hopefully it didn't come to that situation, but, there could be that possibility. Especially for the 4 drivers, obviously. Marcus Ambrose stayed out on this caution. You see his Ford over there. Tony Stewart is on pit road. Same with Jeff Burton and Brad Keselowski. Currently, Jeff Burton is the last driver inside the playoff grid right now. If Brad Keselowski needs to have a good run and hope Burton or Tony Stewart have an issue or have a poor finish and get caught up in wrecks today to make things easier, I guess. So Martin Truex and Jeff Gordon are on the front row for this restart. And, got cars bouncing into the wall here in turn 1. Sorry, turn 3. And 3 wide at Bristol. That is sketchy. Dylan Murray is squeezing past Kurt Busch and Eric Almirola on the outside, way down on the inside, trying to get everything he can. They're still 3 wide behind him. Look at, there's a hornet's nest of cars behind. And the more traffic is a big issue at this short track, because eventually if you get held up enough, you're just going to get more and more impatient, and eventually you're going to want to knock a guy out of the way. This is a tight situation here, especially if there's somebody hitting the brakes and jamming everybody up in the inside lane. As Newman gets up the track into Stewart. That ought to be an awkward meeting for the boss Thursday morning. Dylan Murray going 3 wide with Landon Castle, and he'll get several spots there, trying to go under Keselowski for 14th. Trying to get under Kyle Busch for 12th. So far, Carl Edwards, he has not won since Vegas, all the way back in race 2 earlier this year. Leading out front in this one, Carl Edwards has had a couple victories in the summer Bristol race. The Sharpie, he won the Sharpie 500 in 2007 and won the race again 1 year later when he got in that famous battle with Kyle Busch. And so far in the early quarter of this race, Carl's shown he has a fast car. David Gillen using pit strategy to ride around in 6th. Get by him and Dale Jr. for a spot. As it sits, looks like the top 5 is Carl Edwards, Martin Truex, Sam Hornish, Danica Patrick, and Jeff Gordon. The top 5. Here at Bristol. Just to show you how Matt Kenseth is currently the fastest car on the track right now. It looks like Danica really keeps... I'm just watching the line here from this battle for 4th that Dylan Murray just joined in. And you can already tell he's getting fairly impatient with Gordon. And he'll just duck right under him for a spot. I just noticed this. It almost looks to me like Carl Edwards is getting on a pit road for green flag stops. If you see Danica's line, she's leaving a lot of gap on the racetrack. Yeah, it almost seems like previous couple laps that Dylan Murray joined the battle. As, we got car around. That is Hornish. Saves it. Stacks everybody on pit road. Jeff Gordon had to really get on the binders to miss him. And Dylan Murray will come out of turn 4, and he will lead this lap with some very worn-out tires. And you see right there, looks like we're already starting to begin, I guess, green flag pit stops for the cars that opted to stay out. As of right now, Greg Biffle is in second. And the caution has come out. Oh, we got a wreck. Turn 3, Trevor Bain and Dale Jr. were spinning. Ends up collecting Kurt Busch and Greg Biffle. And it also looks to me like it also got Denny Hamlin, the spring winner here at Bristol. Hamlin was around. As Dylan Murray comes down pit road for green flag pit stops, we'll step away and give you the sounds of the race.
Two fresh tires, some gas, water cap's cool. I'm going to add a little tank. We're going to make some quick repairs too. Let's go to work, boys. Here we go.
So a lot of drivers took advantage of green flag pit stops on this yellow, except for Austin Dillon and Eric Amarola. Several cars took the wave round. There was no lucky dog. I believe the lucky dog was Trevor Bain. But since him and Dale Jr. were part of a chain reaction wreck, I don't think they'll give it to anybody this go around.
Great stuff, guys. Good job. In and out. It's all you now, buddy. Okay, it's time to push that pace now, buddy. Stay focused. We can do this. Okay, behind you. Inside. Looking really good, buddy. Okay, honey down. Okay, let's go find your next victim.
Outside lane really getting a lot of momentum here off 4, and Dylan Murray is going to cut way under Eric Amarola and go out to an early lead. New leader at Bristol, Dylan Murray, driving the Dale Senior Throwback. And he is well on his way to checking out right now.
Good job. Really good.
Dylan Murray started all the way back in 34th for this race, qualifying originally being Tuesday afternoon with the race supposed to be at night, but it was moved to today because of weather. Dylan Murray is a fast race car. He hasn't won since Loudon, down in New Hampshire, the race that went caution-free. This race in the spring, he was fast early on, but multiple wrecks really hampered his finish in the spring race. And now after this was a third caution in the race, Dylan Murray has gotten around Eric Amarola on a restart, and he is gone. He is the new fastest driver on the racetrack, just laid down a 17-second lap. And he's already catching the lap traffic. Let's go on board the bumper cam just to see how low and how fast things are here. I think from that last yellow when Junior was spinning, I saw Greg Biffle and Kurt Busch, as they slid up the track and everybody was coming to a stop, it almost looked to me like Kurt Busch and Greg Biffle just hit the brakes in order to avoid from piling into Junior, because Junior was coming up awfully fast on that last yellow when him and Trevor Bayne got together. Kurt Busch is able to shuffle his way around Eric Almirola to take second, as two more cars are coming onto pit road. Or three of them. I think they're the two cars that stayed out last caution. This race, honestly, has been a much different played out very differently than the spring race, where by this time I think we had probably 7 cautions. Here the themes really seems to be a lot of long green flag runs, which is kind of surprising because this race typically is run in the cool of the night in the summer, but with rain, it moved the race to mid to late morning as the caution has come out. I believe for Austin Dillon. Getting loose and getting into the wall. First half of this race is complete. Dylan Murray has dominated the second stage of this race. And he has just been lightning fast this afternoon here in Bristol. And kind of hard to see who's coming down going to be on pit road. Let's go around. However, if you're Denny Hamlin, you're very lucky. Say, if you ask me, I think Denny Hamlin got real lucky he wasn't going to go a lap down. Because judging by how fast Dylan was ripping up the outside of the racetrack, he was coming. Oh, we got a wreck under caution. Kyle Busch, he won the second Watkins Glen doubleheader race. And it looks to me Kyle Busch is stalled on pit road. And somehow he stayed out. Now he's the leader.
Way to go, boys. Nice pit stop. We got a real big car here. Just take care of everybody.
Kyle Busch already starting to play out, have a similar restart to Dylan Murray the last restart. He's really pulled away from Casey Mears that time. We got Casey Mears, Clint Boyer, Josh Wise, and Dylan Murray about to crash Bobby Labonte for 5th. As he's just slammed Labonte up the racetrack. as Dylan Murray takes third, and he's under attack from Boyer for fourth. He moves Mears out of the way for second. Now Dylan Murray is going to set his sights on Kyle Busch, who is facing sideways on pit road for some reason when everybody was pitting. And he's somehow leading. And here comes Dylan Murray. He's almost like he's playing with Kyle Busch a little bit. Now at this point, with how much time there is left, I honestly wouldn't be worried too much about trying to nudge him. And I don't think Dylan's listening, but Dylan Murray tries to clear. Oh, he's into the wall. Busch got into the wall as well. But Dylan Murray lost a lot of time. Really lost a full second. And he narrows it down just like that. And another caution this time. And it looks to me like Carl Edwards and Jamie McMurray get together. Jamie McMurray ends up crashing in turn one. Turn one really seems to be a big issue with a lot of these guys today, I've noticed. A lot of cars getting into each other, bouncing off the wall, and coming and skating towards turn one. Brad Keselowski, he's one of the drivers that needs a win to get into the chase. Just made it 3 wide with Dylan Murray to take the lead. And more contact. Logano gets knocked around. So the top 3 as it sits, Keselowski, Johnson, Logano, Stremme, and Quapple. The top 5. Jeff Burton and Tony Stewart are up in this mix. As Dylan Murray gets almost turned, we got a crash. Turn 1, Stewart's in it. Came right across the track. Stewart, actually, I don't think Stewart got damage. Looked like he did the way Truex slid right into his path. That was almost a big moment there. And Truex, under caution, looked like he was stopping in front of the 25 pit. Brad Keselowski gets an early jump on Joey Logano. Here comes Stremme for second. Casey Kane riding in fourth. A lot of cars checking up in the accordion in behind them. Dylan Murray has suddenly got his car really tight. So far, the top 5 as it sits: Keselowski, Logano, Stremme, Kane, Kyle Busch. Dylan Murray in a big 3-wide situation, way out in the top lane, just like the start of the race. Falls back in line. And that is definitely the issue of running the top line like Dylan Murray was. And we got a wreck. McDowell. Oh, got another crash. Got a car that just got turned further up. That's Hornish off the side of Kurt Busch. Hornish slams the wall. McDowell spins in front of everybody. And so more wrecking. Several cars wrecking behind as the caution came out. Dylan Murway and Casey Mears are going at it. Bounces off Boyer. Boyer gets clipped. No, Boyer clips Hornish. Slams Hornish hard into the wall. Kurt Busch nearly got turned as he was slowing down. Oh, wow. Already several other pit road issues. Jamie McMurray just got turned in his pit stall. Yeah, Bristol War Wounds. A lot of cars are having Bristol battle scars tonight or today. And how about that sudden rash of yellows in the second half of this race? We had 3 before. I think we had maybe 3 before lap 35 today. 4 cautions later. And what almost looks like a small red flag. Greg Biffle is on the front, his leader on this restart. With Casey Mears to his outside. Hamlin got the lucky dog on that caution. Ooh, Trevor Baden got a little physical. I think he remembers lap 3. I think he just gave him a little shot in 3. But Greg Biffle, he won the first Watkins Glen race, part of that doubleheader. And he's well out in front. Well, he was well out in front. But Dylan Murway is slicing through the inside lane. He just carved a huge hole. There's several cars to go through. I think at this point, if you come down in front of somebody like this, oh, almost a big moment. You're in front of somebody who's faster and you're slower. I think a lot of people are expecting to get moved. So we may see some more cautions. Nemechek, and we almost had one there with Jeff Gordon. Nemechek just turned left. Is there damage on the 24? By the looks of it, doesn't look like much. As they're checking up again, Edwards is around. Looks like he's sitting there stalled. Everybody saves it. More cars checking up. Speed into the wall, and we got a crash. Scott Speed, Jeff Gordon, and more. Could Greg Biffle get his second win of the year? And more importantly, could Kevin Harvick get his second win at Bristol? Could Junior get his second win at Bristol? Casey Mears could break a long winless streak here if things keep going the way they are. A lot of things could shake out here. Greg Biffle and Earnhardt Jr. are the top two. Dylan Murway has just moved into third. In fact, if you look at Greg Biffle, he is probably the cleanest car in the entire field right now, or one of them. Anyway. And Newman and Gordon get together. Dylan Murway had to really get out of the gas that time, losing several spots as it looks like McDowell was on pit road. He came up there. Several other cars that are planning to come up into the racetrack. And things got a little clean there. Maybe Biffle has to really get out of the gas. Junior is your leader at Bristol, and the entire city of Tennessee knows about it. So as of right now, it looks like the top three are Dale Jr., Casey Kane, and Greg Biffle, with Ryan Newman, Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick, Dylan Murway, and Kevin Harvick rounding out the top six. The ninth caution is out. And it looks like Clint Boyer just got turned by Austin Dillon. A lot of onesie, twosie car crashes. Dylan Murway opts to stay out make those tires last. This ought to be interesting. Kevin Harvick will be to his outside. .12 to go at Bristol. You got Carl Edwards, Matt Kenseth. They have not won since Vegas and California earlier this year. They're looking for a win, and just like that, you see why tires are so important. As they're almost wrecking up front, Carl Edwards comes to the lead. Kevin Harvick and Matt Kenseth fight for second. And got cars into the wall. Hard hit. Reagan on his side. Brad Keselowski almost gets in it. More people piling up. Juan Montoya's in it. Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart. Couldn't miss it. How much damage did Tony Stewart get? Looks like Jeff Burton may have got damage. Landon Castle spinning around. Brad Keselowski really saved himself from getting torn up in that one. But a hard crash. David Reagan up on his side, slamming into Paul Menard. Oh, Landon Castle. Off the nose of, looks like Kyle Busch. Yeah, he was off the nose of Kyle Busch. Things have definitely gotten a little wild. The second half of today's race at Bristol. We're going to need fuel bad, I think. Fuel, because if things keep going the way they are. you're going to see some overtimes. Green white checkers.
Those right side tires ain't looking good, buddy. You need to get some gas. All right, let's make it count, boys. Be ready. Be ready.
This could be absolutely critical, I think, in who wins determines this race. Bobby Labonte and Ricky Stenhouse are on the front row for this restart.
Awesome work, boys.
That's going to be fun. You know, Keselowski is going to get aggressive. He hasn't won this year. If he wins, that leaves one open spot for points.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. Step it up. Driver in first, 2 seconds ahead. Got one behind you.
Crash. Another one. It looks like Kevin Harvick and Danica Patrick. Austin Dillon also involved.
The safety crews are clear of the track. Don't pass before the start line. Last thing
7 laps to go. Ricky Stenhouse and Brad Keselowski on the front row. Things are going to get wild, I think.
nice and easy. Just keep doing what you've been doing. Got one work at the bottom. Well, here's the thing.
Look at Dylan Murray. He is ring riding. We got another wreck again. Jamie McMurray and I think Hamlin. Yeah, Hamlin just ran to the back of Jamie McMurray. And I think Gordon got a piece of that. Oh, man, this ought to get wild. Five laps left at Bristol. Several quickie yellows. Brad Keselowski jumping to a small lead. Five laps to go. Well, 4 to go now. Brad Keselowski, Paul Menard, Ricky Stenhouse, Dale Jr., the top 5, or top 4 right now, with Newman in the top 5. Dylan Murray is driving the wheels off this car. And Truex will go around into Casey Kane, and the caution is out. And Joey Logano gets turned around in the accordion. I guess Keselowski couldn't make it on fuel. Paul Menard could be in contention to really spoil a bit what has turned into a borderline demolition derby. Junior gets the lead. Paul Menard matches wits with him. Boyer goes around. Oh, big crash. Turn 3. Oh, my. They saw Clint Boyer flying. Oh, wow. And then I guess Boyer got hit in just the right spot that it retired him from the race. So, second attempt. Do we settle it here? Or do we go to a final attempt here? Tony Stewart is in 5th. And considering how much of a demo derby this race has become, He could win it. But Junior gets a great jump into 3. Will Tony Stewart have anything for him? Out of turn 4, we will finally see the white flag as there's cars crashing behind. In a big pile. Dale Jr. escapes what has turned into a very crazy race. Comes out of turn 4. He will win at Bristol. And Dylan Murway comes out of this with a top 10. Wow. Anyways, let's look at Tony Stewart moves in. He still keeps that 15th spot in points. Marcus Ambrose actually was able to leapfrog Jeff Burton, who ends up finishing 37th. So Tony Stewart and Marcus Ambrose are currently the final 2 drivers in on points. A lot of notable names back here. Clint Boyer obviously flying through the air like that, ending up 40th. Johnson, Kane, Montoya. Things definitely got wild. So tune in Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern for the final regular season race. You see when this is. The Atlanta 500 this Saturday.